We've all gotten into trouble for not noticing when our significant other gets their hair done. So you can't fool me, Hasbro. This week we're taking a look at Marvel Legends Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Gwen. A former friend, gymnast, and ballerina, Gwen Maxine Stacy has lost so much that she tends to self-sabotage, quitting her universe of Earth-65 because her father tried to arrest her.
This is mostly for you.
Now homeless, Spider-Gwen is indoctrinated into the Spider Society, choosing to crash on Hobby Brown's couch.
Why are you so sweaty?
I was watching Cops.
Luckily for Gwen, her dad decides to retire from the Force and support her as a vigilante.
That's not how the Force works.
Accessories! Does this purse go with my bra, brah?
Spider-Gwen is packed in with a fist bump hand, a thwipping hand, and 2 open hands. One for sticking to walls, and the other is a half gripping hand, like she's getting ready to thwip or look at her phone, if she came with a phone, which she doesn't. The multiversal gizmo watch is removable, meaning you can re-gift it to Pinky over here, but only her. The wrist being so small and the peg from the hands being so thin, it only fits this stylized style. The unmasked head sculpt has a different expression to the previously released Spider-Gwen. She's more stoic and her eyes are bigger, but without being the precious big. The hair sculpt is the same, but can anyone tell me why her blonde and pink hair is now blue and purple? The lack of subtlety in shading makes it look cheap. Popping off the head and down hood and replacing it with the masked head sculpt, the first thing you'll notice is the head is glued into the hood, so the hinge is limited when looking up. Compare that to the Into the Spider-Verse Gwen, whose mask was not glued to the hood, and you'll see why I prefer it loose. Speaking of hoods, when comparing this release to the very similar pink version of the figure, the hood sits lower down on the shoulders versus the pink version, which has a gap no matter how much you push down on the head. The pink mask head sculpt also has a squinty expression, which is great for action shots, but after seeing the black border on the inside of the purple Spider-Gwen, I am debating doing some customization with a Gundam marker. But as always, mod at your own risk. Not sure why Lila came with Spider-Gwen and not Miguel, but having this in hand, it makes me want a full-size articulated figure. Lila is basically a mini statue, but she's an interesting character nonetheless. I did hesitate to do an intro of her too, so let's do this one more time. Lila, if Madison with 2 N's and Miss Minutes had a baby.
I enjoyed that.
An artificial intelligence, companion, and assistant to Miguel O'Hara. Aside from looking like a young Sally Jesse Raphael, Lila is one of the founding members of the Spider Society.
Mr. Adams, please stop calling. We do not know where they meet. Let's take another call.
Articulation, bruh.
Head on a ball and hinge, allowing him to look down all the way. Not up very much because that hair does get in the way and we are using a ball joint, but there is some left to right. And again, not a lot of tilt because of that ball joint. We get some swivel at the upper torso. There is some tilt back and forth. Forward, not a lot, if any at all, and not a lot back either. Arms do rotate all the way around. There's a bicep swivel, a pinless double jointed elbow. Arms ball and hinge all the way out. Hands rotate, hinging down and up. Legs kick up, out a good amount. There's an upper thigh swivel, a pinless double jointed knee, no boot swivel, feet do hinge down, hinge up, and rocks like when you're suffering from depression and someone tells you to cheer up.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
Go sit yourself.
Whether it's sitting on a stool to play the drums or sitting on a chair, Gwen can go sit herself.
Okay, before we get started, I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression here. Lila is tacked onto her forearm with some blue tack. Speaking of forearms, with the more accurate pink, here's Spider-Gwen. And while we're talking about accuracy, I'd love to see a more stylized version of this Spider-Gwen. And while she's not technically a Gwen Stacy, she is a Gwendolyn. Here's Gwenpool. And not sure what's going on with her dress there, but what a slit. Here's Gwen Stacy. And from the same line with kinda the same design, here's Hobby Brown, Spider-Punk. And he might not be a boyfriend, but he is a boy, standing in a b-boy friend stance. Here's Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And is he a spider? Is he a pig? Is he a Warner Brothers copyright infringement? Here's Spider-Pig. And lastly, from Deadpool's cab driver to his very own superhero, here's Paviter Pabarkar, Spider-Man.
Think unsexy thoughts. Think unsexy thoughts.
It's hard to admit that this second Across the Spider-Verse figure is an upgrade because of the color choice. But the cleaner paint is undeniable, and the added accessories make this hard to pass up, if you can get over the purple inaccuracy.
I mean, can you even, Raymond?
I cannot even.
It seems that Lila could have been packed in with Miguel, and this spot could have gone to someone else more deserving in the wave. Like the emotionally tortured Scarlet Spider, or the Spidey therapist with the glasses and the clipboard. Instead, we get a bunch of hands, which I personally love. The mix of open, fisted, and web-shooting hands is ideal for a Spider-Woman. Now, getting into the versus part of the Spider-Gwen, this is almost the exact same sculpt, right down to the same loose hinge on the left shoe. The black line work at the back goes further up the torso and has a glossier finish to match the poorly articulated lower torso. The cleaner paint lines are a testament to how Hasbro is improving the quality with every release. For anyone looking to swap out the arms, you're out of luck. The white parts of the costume do not match. The pink hair blends better into the blonde than the purple and blue. The worried expression is better suited for Gwen in the movie, but the skin tone is too pink. Like they're taking the color of the scene into account versus how the character would look in normal lighting. However, the big eyes on the face printing are more movie accurate and more detailed close up. This Spider-Gwen release was unwarranted. Changing the tint on a figure is not a good excuse to re-release the exact same sculpt. I could understand if Hasbro fixed the torso articulation or loose joints, but they didn't. I don't mind getting the same figure twice if it mimics motion in photography, but the purple accents, hair color, and lack of torso articulation ruins any chance of that.
Oh, Mom, it's gonna ruin my figure.
So to sum up my thoughts with more thoughts, Spider-Gwen went from one of the best figures in Wave 1 to one of the most unnecessary figures in Wave 2.
Oh, come on. What the heck are you doing here?